Okay, we're having, thank you very much to the people that is in this breakout room. So as I mentioned before, Paul and Christina are from St. John's University, right? So I'm gonna let, I'm not sure if Christina or Paul, they want to introduce themselves. Paul is going to be the one.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I'm really excited to give you this little 30-minute taste of what you're going to get from the Education USA Academy Connects at St. John's University. So that's SJU. So yeah, I'm one of the instructors in the class. So I lead many of the sessions. And so today, that's, the purpose is to have 30 minutes to give you that little bit of a taste. I'm joined here today also with my colleague, Christina Quartararo, who you're going to meet later. And she is going to give you while I'm giving you a taste, she's going to give you like a real picture of what the entire program looks like. So one way or another, you're really going to find out if this is going to be right for you. Let me share my screen. I'm getting good at this, so. That was the fastest I've ever shared my screen. Okay, great. Congratulations. All right, so like I said, so there are so many parts to this program. And like I said, I lead a lot of these classes. So during this program, you're going to really find a lot of information. You're going to learn how to, for example, learn how to really identify a university that's perfect for you. We're going to talk about methods and techniques that you can use to really know that you're applying to a university that has a high chance of working for you. We're going to talk about majors. What's a major? What you study. So the way it works in the United States is very different than other countries. And we're going to talk about how you can really explore what you want to study when you go to the university. We're going to talk about all the pieces and parts of the application. Many of you want to apply to universities that have a lot of competition, that, it's kind of could be a little difficult to get in, to get accepted to that university. And so that's why you're going to really want to know how to write a great essay. In our program, you're going to have a lot of time talking about writing these. Recommendation letters, that's what today's mock class is about. So it's how to obtain the best recommendation letters that you can possibly get. And, during our future courses, during the Education USA Academy, we're going to talk about scholarships, making a budget, and making the final decision about where you go to, which university you go to. But like I said, I'm giving you a taste, and today what we're going to talk about are really letters of recommendation. Okay, so letters, like I said, to apply to a university in the United States, the university is going to ask you to provide a lot of parts to your application. The application itself, you're going to write an essay. You may have to list your extracurricular activities. You may have to take a test, maybe an English test or the SAT. But what is certain is that almost every university you apply to is going to ask you, either require or highly encourage you to obtain letters of recommendation. On average, most universities are going to ask you to find 2 people to write a letter about you, recommending you, and giving some details about what kind of person you are and what kind of student you are. So that's my point is that letters of recommendation are very important. And there's a little bit of a secret and an art to getting the best letters of recommendation that you can get. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to do it, how to make it happen and make those letters of recommendation the best they can be. So first of all, who, right? You need to find 2 people to be your recommenders, but who should they be? Well, without a doubt, the #1 category for recommenders are teachers. Why? naturally, teachers really know you. Teachers have been able to see you maybe struggle a little bit, maybe have some big success with a project or a test. So teachers, oftentimes you may have had a teacher for one semester, 1 year, or sometimes you may have had a teacher for even more than 1 year. So it's like the perfect person to write the letter of recommendation because they've really had the opportunity to observe you for a long time. But it's not just teachers. You don't, most people choose 2 teachers, but some people choose a teacher and a counselor. Right? So this is someone else who works in your high school. Many of you go to high schools where you have a college counselor or a university counselor, a person at your school who is in charge of kind of helping you to find your way while you're a student and to discover what you want to study, where you want to go to university. So that person also has had the opportunity, kind of like a teacher, to observe you over the course of a long period of time. And it's not just counselors and teachers. There are even other people. There's no right or wrong answer about who you choose to be a recommender. Some of you have had work experiences or extracurricular club experiences, sports, or being members of an organization. And perhaps a person who supervised you or had a leadership role might make a good recommender. So it's not just teachers, but nonetheless, teachers are the most popular category of recommender. So what are we looking for here? What are we asking for? Obviously, it's a letter of recommendation, but at the core, what we're asking for is a letter that comments about your academic and your personal qualities. So what I'm saying here is that it's a letter that really gets specific. It's really tailored to who you are, who you've been as a student. That's what makes letters of recommendation so fantastic, is that it's a great opportunity to perhaps story about you or to give some extra information about you. And finally, when, you start the application process almost a year in advance, oftentimes 9 months, 10 months in advance of the actual start of the school year. And so it's really a nice thing to give your recommenders on. They recommend 2 months. I personally think 1 to 2 months is a really generous amount of time. My point is never say that you need a recommendation letter in a few days or 1 week. Always give your recommender lots of time because, the person, the recommender, your teacher, your counselor, they need some time to think about and to write the letter. So I think this slide is great. I found this quote from an admissions counselor. An admissions counselor is a person like me. I'm the person at St. John's University who reads the recommendation letters, who reads your whole application. And this sums it up. The reason that I like, and that most of us love letters of recommendation, is because we get much more of a real feeling for the student and the type of person and the student they are. And then that helps us to picture, to imagine who they might be on our campus. So like I said, letters of recommendation are just very important, and they provide, I'm going to call it insider information or unique information about who you might be as a student at that university. So you need, obviously, the first step in writing a letter of recommendation is that you need to ask, right? You have to ask. That doesn't just happen on its own. So first you choose who you're going to ask, and then you ask. I read that the best way to ask is in person. We might be tempted to send your former teacher or the person that you know an email, just saying like, hey, I'm applying to this university. Could you write me a letter of recommendation? But much better than that is to ask in person. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that we're living in a very unique time right now. So call, right? That old thing, call, or video chat. But it really makes a difference when you make the person that you choose to recommend you feel special, because they are special. You know, you had how many teachers in the first 3 years of high school? Probably, 20 teachers. So this person is special, and you want to make them feel special. So ask them in person, or with a video call, or with a telephone call. Give them plenty of time, like I already said. So give them a deadline, make it very clear, and give them lots of information to work with, right? So imagine this. So this is how letters of recommendation work. I didn't mention this before. You are never going to see it. Wow, that's scary. It means that you don't have, it's the part of your application that you have very little control over, because really the person could write anything. And so I guess the technique that I want to give you today is how to influence how the letter of recommendation turns out, so that you're really confident that the person that you asked is going to write positive things about you, and that you really have an idea of what examples they're going to use in their letter. The way that now it's 2021, technology, I mean, I maybe in the old days, a letter of recommendation was on a piece of paper, and they folded it into an envelope and they mailed it to the United States, right? Well, now everything is online, of course, and letters of recommendation are no different. I can almost say with 100% certainty, every college or university that you want to apply to is going to provide you with some sort of process, like a unique link to give your recommender. The recommender is going to click that link of that university, and they are going to come up with a platform, an electronic platform that's specific to your application, where they can do probably a combination of two things. Fill out a little form. My name is I know this candidate for how many years, and then upload a letter of recommendation. So most of your recommenders are going to write it on a Word document, and then or create a PDF, and then they're going to be able to upload and attach it. And then they click submit, and that's it. So now you understand how you probably are never going to see the letter. They're not handing you the letter so that you can attach it to your application, but they're sending the letter electronically and without you really ever seeing the letter of recommendation. So that makes it all the more stressful, and that makes it all the more important that you really influence the recommender to on like what is in the contents of the letter. Okay, so how do we do that? Like I said, you're going to need to, in my best advice to you is to hand them something written, of course, on electronic, emailed as a PDF, or if you're going to talk to them in person, you could even hand them a real piece of paper. There's no real name for this. Like I can't give you what is this piece of paper called, but basically you're helping the recommender with all of the information that they are going to need to write the letter. Now think about this. The teacher that you are asking to write the letter of recommendation had you in class, and the class had maybe 20 students in it. Now, the teacher probably teaches 4, 5, maybe 6 classes. So each class contains an average of 20 students. It's a lot of students. So the teacher, you may have loved this teacher, and you might be confident that the teacher remembers you and really enjoyed having you in the class. But even if it was 1 year ago, or even if it's was just very not that long ago, you're going to need to help them to remember exactly who you were, exactly which class you were in, and lots of other details about what you enjoyed about the class. Don't worry, we're going to look at a really good example of this, but I guess what you could call this is a letters of recommendation questionnaire. So it's a questionnaire is something that you fill out, and the questionnaire is sort of like a guide or a format. Many high schools provide this to their students so that you can, give an example of something you did in class, and you write that down, or give examples of clubs and other activities that you were involved in, and you write that down. And then you present that to your the person who you want to recommend you. But a lot of high schools don't give that that little gem, that little like helpful form that you can fill out. So you can try Googling letters of recommendation questionnaire, or my feeling is that by the end of this mock class, you are going to have such a good idea of the information you want to provide to your recommenders that you can do it just from instinct, right? That you can create that information that you'll provide to your recommenders. Let's talk about, but before we get into it, before we start to like really get into like what would make the perfect letter of recommendation, let's talk about what happens when you don't do what I'm telling you to do, right? So imagine this, and lots of people do this. They email their your former teacher. I remember that. Yeah, I got an A in that class. I did very well. I'm gonna, and you just simply ask, hey, I'm applying to these 5 colleges. Here are the 5 links. I need a letter of recommendation. It's due on, maybe a month from now. Thank you. What could happen is that the letter of recommendation is bleh, right? For lack of a better word. It's just not, it doesn't have that, those details or the real feeling that, and what we want from this letter of recommendation is that the person who wrote it really loves you, right? Or really saw something in you that's very special. So when you just simply ask for like a letter of recommendation, it can come out unenthusiastic. So what does that mean? It just means no energy. And you maybe technically the words say, I recommend this student for your university, and everything is positive, but you can read, we call it read between the lines, right? And you get that feeling like, this person just kind of wrote it really quickly, and it says nice things, but they're very standard. So we want to avoid that. The other possibility is called the resume repeat letter. So this is what happens when I said, you need to give information to your recommender. If you don't give customized, like unique information to that recommender, you simply give them a list of all the classes you've taken and all of activities that you've done, then the letter of recommendation comes out like a list of all the classes you've taken and a list of all the activities you've done. And how boring. So that's a bad letter of recommendation. And it could be because that's the boring information you provided to your recommender. So we don't want that. And finally, we don't want, we never want a short letter. So that a short letter might happen just because, oh, hey, teacher, I'm applying to this university and I need it in 5 days. Could you just write me a letter of recommendation? So you've given them very little time and you've given them no information. Then they're going to write you a very, very short letter of recommendation. Like I said at the beginning, many of the universities you're applying to might be very selective. And so this letter of recommendation may be the thing that makes you get that acceptance letter. So think of it that way. That's how important this is. And that's why I want to avoid letters of recommendation that are like those 3 categories. Okay, this is another little fun thing that I have to mention. Now, this happens all the time. you select your recommender, and you give your recommender 1.5 months, 6 weeks to write the letter of recommendation. From your perspective as an applicant, you can log into your university's application website and you can check the status of your recommendation letters. And so you log in and you see not received. Okay, then 1 week later, you log in again. Still not received. 1 week later, you log in. Still not received. What is this teacher doing? Why are they not writing the letter of recommendation? So there is many of you are going to have to, we call it nudging. That's where you take your elbow and go like this, nudging. You're going to have to nudge your recommender to write the letter. They're very busy people. It's not because they don't want to write it or because they're mean, or, you know, they might just have a lot of letters of recommendation, but you can't let it go. You can't just let them not write it. So at some point, you're going to have to remind them. So here we are on this slide. We have option A and option B. And I'm going to do a dramatic reading of both options of how you might approach this problem. So option A says, do you need anything else from me that might help you to complete the letter of recommendation? Okay, that's option A. Option B, I asked you 3 weeks ago and you haven't done it yet, and the deadlines are coming up. So that one has a little bit more panic to it. And what I often ask the students is take a little poll to see who chooses option A and option B. I'm not going to do that today for the mock class, but I'm sure all of you are thinking, which one do you think the winner is? Option A. And so some people that comes naturally, and some people, I need to remind you. So always think of it in that way. Always use the opportunity to, even though you're panicking because they still haven't written it, but use that opportunity just to check in with them and offer help. Offer if they need any more information. 9 times out of 10, the response is going to be like, oh, absolutely. Nope, I'm going to, you'll see the letter of recommendation in 1 or 2 days. You know, it's so you really want to approach it carefully. And remember, you want the letter of recommendation to come out positive and have good feelings. So, you know, even if you're a little panicked, remain calm and offer more information or just a gentle reminder. All right, so finally, now we're into the last part. This is my favorite part. And this is where we use a real example of somebody asking for a letter of recommendation. So I'm going to introduce you to Sarah. Sarah is planning on applying to 5 colleges. These are colleges, universities, same thing. She is a writer. She's a talented writer. And so she doesn't know what she wants to study at university, but she knows that it's going to be something that's going to be creative, that's going to use her writing skills. And so she is thinking of this one teacher that she had who would be perfect to write her that letter of recommendation and emphasize or really talk about her writing skills. And that person is Miss Scribe. Miss Scribe had Sarah in the 11th grade for honors English class, and she remembers her. She remembers Sarah, and she remembers that Sarah enjoyed her class. That's kind of like all she remembers. Remember, I said teachers have a lot of students, so they don't always have a clear memory of exactly what you did. So, like we talked about, Sarah is a smart person, and she has provided the following information customized for Miss Scribe, her former English teacher. Number 1, her name, her full name. It's not complicated, but it really allows Miss Scribe to say, yeah, her last name is Smith. Exactly which class she was in, honors English 11 in the 2020-21 academic year. And then the next section Sarah includes is accomplishments. This is where Sarah asked herself, look, I remember being in this class and we did these projects, and this is what I'm going to remind her of. I remember I did a project on creative identity development and I analyzed works from 3 time periods. We also did a class debate. It was about gun laws. And if you recall, right, she puts on the thing, I chose to take the opposing view, and I did very well in that debate. It was challenging and eye-opening. And then a little bit about outside of class, poetry. I've been published in the high school, that's Mark Twain High School, MTHS Literary Magazine, and I've published my poems on poetry.com. Okay, so she's naming a couple of
sorry to interrupt, Paul. Sorry to
minutes.
interrupt, just to let you know that we are almost, we are 2 minutes left.
Perfect, I'm just on time. Okay, and then finally, she does a little bit of a comment about her future, right? She says, she admits to Ms. Scribe, I don't know what I want to study. I'm undecided about my major. But what I do know is that I want to incorporate my writing, my talent for writing and critical analysis. Okay, so now I think I've given you an idea, right? Sarah has made all of the right decisions. She's provided all of the right information. And so the big question is, what will Sarah's letter of recommendation look like? Will it be unenthusiastic? I don't think so. Will it just simply repeat, like any other letters of recommendation or other parts of her application? No. Will it be low on details? Absolutely not, because Sarah gave her lots of inspiration and ideas. And so what we will do in our Education USA Academy class is that we'll actually look at the letter of recommendation and analyze it. And you will personally see how great the letter turned out. And you will really realize that it was, well, you think that you don't have much control over the letters of recommendation, you actually do when you provide the right information, give them plenty of time, and select the right person to do the letter of recommendation. So that is how you obtain an excellent letter of recommendation. Thank you, everyone, for your time and attention. And I sincerely hope that I can meet you in person in June during our Education USA Academy classes.
Thank you very much, Paul. We're gonna go back to the main room. Thank you for to all of you that turn on your cameras, and we will see you in a bit again. Welcome back, everyone. I think everyone is here. So thank you very much for to the higher education institution for providing this insightful mock classes. So I would like to start with the pitch, and I will first call to Diablo Valley College. So I'm not sure who would like to present from there. Okay, Sally. Sally will present.
Hi, everyone. Actually, Risa, our teacher, had to jump off and go teach another class. So thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. So I'm the director of the International Education Center at Diablo Valley College. Diablo Valley College is in Northern California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. And our Education USA Academy's Connect program kind of focuses on what we have in our area, the high tech, Silicon Valley, innovation, and those different areas. So if I'm just going to share my screen really quickly and go over some of the highlights of our program. So bear with me for 1 second while I try to find it. Okay, and let me see. And I apologize for how it looks. It's not perfect, but the Education USA Academy Connects programs are all all of our programs and the representatives, we are, it's a program for high school students. So from 15 to 18 years old, for those students who are in high school, who are thinking perhaps into the future that they would like to do their undergraduate studies in the United States. And this program, unfortunately, we can't have the Connect or the Academy face-to-face. We hope that we can have the Academy face-to-face next summer or next year. But for right now, it is a virtual program. So Diablo Valley College is a community college. We are a 2-year institution with a very high transfer rate to colleges in California, universities in California, for example, the University of California at Berkeley. So one of the aspects of our program in the Academy Connects program is to give you an overview of the different kinds of universities and colleges and pathways specifically in California. So we do virtual tours of Diablo Valley College, which we have a lovely campus, also of Stanford University, which is a private university, the University of California, Berkeley, which is one of the University of California campuses, and then also San Francisco State University, which is a California State University system. So a lot of different terms, technology, but we want to help you understand the education system in the United States. So briefly, we have 2 programs. One is begins, both of them are 3 weeks. One is July 5th to July 23rd, and 9 to 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So I believe, well, depending on where you are in Mexico, you're probably an hour or 2 later than that. And then a second program, July 6th to August 13, and that would be in the evening. We do look for a score of a B1 on the SEPR scale. So, you know, an intermediate, high intermediate, advanced level English level. And the tuition is $450. So that is our program in a nutshell. We hope that we could see you virtually, many of you in California. And with that, I will pass it back. Let me stop and share.
Thank you very much, Sally. And next, I would like to St. Cloud University to participate, please. I'm not sure from St. Cloud.
I am here.
Elizabeth, yeah.
Yes, maybe.
There are too many.
I know the feeling. I'm teaching now, so I know you get confused. Anyway, thank you for the opportunity. As Mabel said, St. Cloud State University, we are located in Minnesota, and we will be offering a virtual program, just like Sally in Diablo College, but now you will be in central Minnesota, in the heartland of our country. And I would like to share a couple slides and then just describe our program. Just keep in mind that all our academies connects have the basic, but the beauty of all these programs is each one comes in a different flavor. If you consider ice cream, we're not all vanilla. So we can find it. So you get to pick your favorite flavor. And I know Sally's and Christina's programs are wonderful, and we all offer something different. So you're very lucky in watching and learning about it. So with that, I would like to share just a couple of slides. Let me see if I'm getting so much better at this. As I said, we are St. Cloud State University, located in the state of Minnesota. We are just 6 hours from St. Cloud is 6 hours from Canada, and we are 8 hours from Chicago. Those are point of reference for anybody, but we do have an international airport an hour from where we are. The purpose of our academy, the goal, the the flavor, as I mentioned before, is about constructing your personal statement for the essay. So we're going to be concentrating in your writing skills. We're going to enhance your writing skills. And the goal after our program is that for the student to leave with a robust draft of a statement that he or she could fine tune later on and submit it in the university application. That is our goal in the program. But along with that, we also going to be offering workshops and presentations about the university system in the United States, how it works in Minnesota, and the application process. How do you pick a major? It's something as simple as that we sometimes overlook. What happens? What is life like after college? You start as a freshman, but within 4 years, you will be in a different stage in your life. How can you be prepared? How can a university prepare you for the next step? We're going to be talking about that too. Of course, you're going to be talking with our international students. We're going to have panelists. We will be creating a WhatsApp group in which that will be like we call 24/7, probably not 24 hours every day, in which you can actually connect with students like you and ask questions that perhaps you don't feel comfortable asking me or any other faculty. So that is the dynamics of our program. As you can see, we're gonna be having 3 campus tours. We're gonna be seeing private universities. One is called St. John's University, but is the one in Collegeville, Minnesota, not to be confused with the other one. And St. Ben's, and we are going to be connecting with the technical college because that is another option. We want to make sure that you get as many options, as much information as needed, so you can make a very important decision, which is where to go. Our program are going to be live sessions. It's going to be 18 hours program, which will be in 6 weeks. We will accomplish everything I have mentioned to you. I'm gonna do the next one. So who do we want? We want somebody, a young person between 15 and 18. We would like to have a minimum of English of B2. And the reason for that is that we wanna make sure that your English is up to par for what we will be doing in the class. This will be a disservice if we will accept students who will not be able to perform. We don't want that. We don't want that type of bad experience. Obviously, our application deadline is June 11th, and we're gonna start July the 6th all the way through August 12th. Classes are gonna be Tuesday and Thursday from noon until 1:30, which is very good for Mexico because we are in the same time zone. So it doesn't look like too bad for that. You have my information. The cost of our program is $450, and really hope you consider us as an option. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. That will be something that definitely I invite everyone to look at. The information that Sally, Elizabeth, and now St. John's University, I think Christina will do that part, will share with us. Also on the chat, you will receive the link where you can find also material about the programs. And that's been said, I will let Christina talk about St. John's University.
Thank you. So hi, everyone. My name is Christina Quartararo, and I work in the Office of International Education at St. John's University. This photo here that you're looking at is our campus. Our campus is located in New York City in one of the 5 boroughs, and our main campus, which you see here, is our Queens campus. So this campus is where we have our largest number of students and faculty and programs. We also have a small campus in Manhattan. We have a small campus in Staten Island. So we have 3 campuses in New York City, and the main campus is this large campus in Queens. So just a little bit about St. John's. We are a 4-year private institution. So you've heard now from various kinds of institutions. And one of the things that you're going to learn in all of these academies is that you have lots and lots of choices about the type of college or university that you attend. And something really neat about New York City, well, there are lots of wonderful things about New York City, but something specifically that relates to higher education is that there are more than 100 colleges and universities in New York City alone. So even if you decided that St. John's wasn't the college for you, there are so many opportunities to study in New York City, and you'll get to learn about some of those in our program as well. So the program that we run really is about figuring out what it is you want to do when you come to university. And so we will talk about lots of the things that you've heard already about the personal statement, choosing a major, but we're really talking about starting from a little further back and thinking about what kind of institution is it that you want to attend? Do you want to attend a community college first, a public institution, a private institution, a big school, a small school? You have so many choices to make. And so what we're hoping to do is really help you think about what is it you want to study? What kind of environment do you want to be in? And then how do you create the application, including things like a personal statement and getting the right kinds of recommendation letters so that you can be a student in the place that you want to be a student. In addition to those kinds of topics, you'll have what we think is really important is that you have the opportunity to talk to lots of different kinds of people. So you'll get to talk to international students. You'll get to talk to the faculty and staff at the university. You'll have time to talk to our academic deans. So you'll have this opportunity to really learn about the different people and parts of university life. You'll also, of course, get to visit other schools within New York City virtually, and get to kind of see the difference between some of these kinds of institutions within the city. You also get some individual time. So each student gets 30 minutes with an academic advisor just to talk about what it is you're interested in studying, how you can find the right place for you. We realize sometimes that's not St. John's, and that's okay. But you'll also get 30 minutes of academic writing review. So, there's just a lot of time for you to get to talk to people of various kinds. And so there's Paul, who's here on the call with us. And this is a photo from our February Academy Connects program. You see how happy everybody was. Our June program will be June 1st to July 6th. The sessions will be Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern time, which for you guys, many of you on the call now is a little bit earlier, but for some of you could be a little bit later. So it's about an hour later here for me than it is for you right now. The cost of our program is $250, and there are scholarships available. So you can apply for those when you apply to the program. We ask that you apply by May 18th, just because we'd like a couple of weeks before the program starts to get ready for you. And at the end of the program, and I know this is true for all of my colleagues as well, there will be a certificate issued to you, a certificate of completion. So we'll send those out to you so you have a little something to put on your refrigerator to say that you completed the program. So you see there at the bottom that you have our website for the program as well as an email for Paul. Paul is actually located in Colombia, which we didn't mention. So he's in Colombia and I'm in New York City, but you can reach out to either one of us at any time, and we'd love to see you at the Academy. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Christina. I didn't know the Colombia part. Very interesting. So it's time for hear from our audience. So guys, if you have any questions, please type them on the chat. And as I mentioned at the beginning, address those questions to Q&A Edith Melendez. I'm not sure if, do we have questions already, Edith?
Yes, we have some questions in here. Well, the first one goes to Elizabeth from St. Cloud State University. Students are asking, how many students do you usually have per class?
Per class, we try to keep our classes small. So we're looking at between 10 to 15, but the program could be bigger. So if we have more students, we will open more classes. So since it's writing, it does need some one-on-one work with the faculty and the students.
Thank you. Well, now we have here another one. I think this is for Christina, St. John's University. It says, if I decide to participate in an academic program, Do I have any advantages if later I want to apply to your institution?
And so by advantages, I'm not sure exactly which advantages, but certainly you'll have the connection to our international admissions counselors. So Paul is one of our admissions counselors, and he also leads a number of the workshops from the program, as well as 2 other representatives from international admission. So you have the advantage of knowing exactly what it is we're looking for, knowing that you have gotten the advice about how to create an application that we would see. So advantages in that way, yes.
Thank you.
And if I could just jump in, I would say, I think this is true for all of the academies. Our alumni that we've kept in touch with, I think a number of alumni have told us that their experience with the academy really was instrumental in them getting accepted into their final university. So they kind of across the board have said that it's really helped them, whether it's given them more confidence, it's helped them with their language skills. Like Christina says, we give certificates, we give letters of recommendation. All of those things help the participants in the academy be stronger candidates.
Thank you. And I think, well, that relates with the next question, Sally, which I was going to ask you. They're asking if you also, well, if you give any help to the students to prepare for the SAT or to the ACT test. I think you're muted, Sally.
There, okay, sorry. It's probably not the best question for me because Diablo Valley College does not require the SAT or the ACT. Actually, I think universities in the United States are really changing during the pandemic what they've been asking for. So we don't. We do talk about improving language skills, but maybe Elizabeth or Christina could address that a little bit better.
Yeah, I will take that one. That is part of our program, and I know other academies are doing that too. But at least from our point of view, we find that that is very important. Even though, like Sally said, not all the universities, and you saw my class, my 5-6 students who were there, saw also a testimonial that things are changing. But just in case, we're making sure that that is part of our curriculum for the program. Why? Because even if the university doesn't require it, it will be part of a material that you can submit, that it could be looked at. So that there's an advantage, even if it's not required.
Right. So we don't teach test content. So we do have a session where we talk about the kinds of tests that students will need to take depending on their goals, but we don't necessarily prepare students for the SAT, ACT exams.
Thank you. And well, this one goes for the 3 of you. They're asking what's the platform that you're using to teach your classes?
We use Zoom and then Canvas. Canvas is the learning management system. And somebody mentioned this. I think one of the benefits of doing one of these Academy Connects program is just really getting up to speed on a lot of different platforms. Canvas is widely used in universities throughout the United States, particularly in I know in California, I'm not as familiar with the other states.
And we use Zoom meeting, obviously, and then our platform is D2L, which is a Canadian company, but in the Midwest, that's what we're more comfortable with.
So we use WebEx, we're the outlier, but we didn't encounter any problems in our February group, so I think that should be fine. And we also use Canvas for our courses. And just to tag on to what Sally said, Canvas is a learning management system, right? And it's how we deliver the content for our online courses. But in fact, most universities also deliver content for in-person courses through Canvas. So professors are using it to share materials, et cetera. So it really is a good skill. And it doesn't have to be Canvas, it could be any of those platforms, but getting used to it is a really good skill.
Thank you. And well, the last question, I think you already mentioned this, but well, students are asking if you only host Mexican students or if this program hosts people from other countries.
It's for the world.
We want them all.
And quite honestly, that for me, and I think for all of us, is like the most exciting thing, because, you know, if you're looking around, you may not all be from Mexico, but you're all probably Spanish speakers. And in your classrooms, all of a sudden, you're the only Spanish speaker. You have people from Europe, from South America, from Asia, from Africa, from all different places. And it kind of blows your mind when you think of just all that you're learning, not only the content that we're providing, but what you're getting from your classmates.
And I will just say, just in the spirit of being as clear about what these programs are like, for the programs that we run at St. John's University, we actually run different sections at different times of day. So the students that are in the section that students from Mexico might be in are probably mostly from Latin America and the Caribbean, since that's, you know, the time zone that's most convenient to them. So, you know, whether we have students from Asia in that time, it's probably not going to be the case, since that would be 5 a.m. in China. But, you know, but no, it won't be just one country. It's open to anybody. And frankly, if someone wanted to join that program from China, I mean, I would let them. So yeah, but just to be clear for us, that we do kind of organize by time. And so it's likely that there could be lots of other Spanish speakers, maybe some folks speaking, you know, from Portuguese speaking countries or whatever, but sort of within time zones.
Well, we don't have any more questions here. Thank you.
Thank you, Edith. I have received a couple of questions that I already answered on the chat, because there were things that you already mentioned. So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone, from organizers, speakers, instructors, and attendees to these sessions. Next Wednesday, we will have other 2 universities, different flavor, as Elizabeth said, different flavors, and we will have our last session, the last session of our summer program tour. So you are all invited to participate. You are all invited to register again and know about this Education USA Academy Connect program. And with that, I just want to say thank you and have a great afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Christina, Sally, Elizabeth, Paul, all the instructors, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, Sally. Bye, Christina. Bye, Paul.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.